Congressman, do you believe any of Iran's claims? And what should our military be doing to stop this game playing by the regime?
Look, the U.S. military is working to ensure freedom of navigation on a daily basis, whether for our ships or whether for those tankers or other commerce vessels that want to go through there. Obviously, Iran is doing everything that they can with, if they could find a speedboat or a jet ski that they could use to try to do this, they want to harass, coerce, do anything to intimidate the Straits of Hormuz so that whether it's, insurers or ship captains, anybody doesn't want to try to go through those waters without reaching out to Iran first, and we're preventing that as well from them going into those Iranian ports. It's a very dynamic situation, all balanced within a very fragile ceasefire that the president has even said is on life support, but still nonetheless a ceasefire that is taking place in the midst of them having pretty much a destroyed Navy and destroyed Air Force and stockpiles of weapons all destroyed. They're at a disadvantage. We're at a very distinct advantage, but they're still working to harass.
Well, you're the head of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. The president in China with President Xi. What could the Chinese government be doing right now to take care of this, to get all of it to end? Because they have a significant relationship with Iran and economic ties.
I think Chinese government could be doing infinitely more is the answer. The question is, do they want to? And they're balancing two things that are true at once for them, in my opinion. Number one, they're balancing that absolutely they need energy coming out of the Gulf to go into China, and they're at a distinct disadvantage when they don't have that coming out of there. Number two, I would assess that they absolutely want the United States of America somehow bogged down with Iran because they see that as an advantage for them and a disadvantage for us. I think they're weighing both of those things and which one that is that they want more. And to put a fine point on that, there's no question as well that they had been assisting the Iranian military with targeting against the United States of America and also bringing supplies into Iran as well.
Well, we know the president brought some leverage with him, if you will, with all these business leaders. And Trump and Xi have agreed to support each other this year by hosting the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting in Shenzhen near Hong Kong and the G20 Summit in Florida. The president also invited Xi to come to the White House later this year. So it kind of looks like economic cooperation might be the most important thing to come out of this visit so far.
Probably the most substantial relationship to define the 21st century is between the United States of America and China. And I think China recognizes that. We saw the way President Trump was received versus the way President Obama was received. World leaders around the globe, they recognize that President Trump has the ability to bring a banger of an economic deal or bunker busters, whichever way he decides to go on that. And they respect the strength that he brings to the negotiating table and what he's doing around the globe. So they take this very seriously. This is the most consequential relationship. Size of our economies, size of our commerce, size of our militaries, all of the above, and where we move from here, it is substantial. And so to continue to have these meetings, it's important that President Trump does this. There's nobody else that I want going to the front porch of Xi Jinping and saying, listen, you can't be stealing our intellectual property. You can't be copying it, stealing it, bring it to market, crushing these markets. What you're doing are certainly, we call it unfair trade practices, but it's not unrecognized by us. And we're not going to allow it to just, float by us and not pay attention to it. President Trump deals with issues for the United States of America.
Yeah, Congressman, this timing does seem right on the mark in terms of the Iran situation, though, since China does have such a close relationship with Iran. I don't know if Iran will listen to China any more than it's listening to President Trump, but that has to be a huge goal, too. He has to be trying to pressure China to pressure Iran to stop the nonsense. Is that something you think might actually happen here in the next day?
I give that I say the balance. Yes, China has a substantial relationship with Iran, much more than, of course, what we had. But you could say the same thing about their relationship with Venezuela, their relationship with Russia, and their relationship with North Korea as well. But what's fundamentally different is that China does not balance a relationship of trust with any of those nations. The United States of America and our allies, we might have things that we disagree on, but generally we balance relationships of trust. China does not have that. And in addition, what China continues to prove with their, if you want to call them their allies over and over again, is they don't have the back of their allies. They're out there for China. China is not coming to the rescue of Iran right now, who has been their ally, who they have this relationship, like the United States of America. So you know what? UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Oman, any of you in that Gulf area, we have your back. That's not the way that China's operating, and that's a demonstration to the world as well.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.